The U.S. military just confirmed something most people are not processing properly. American forces deployed multiple 5,000-pound deep penetrating munitions on hardened underground Iranian sites near the Strait of Hormuz. This did not come from a rumor or an unverified source. It came directly from U.S. Central Command, published publicly, with specific details about what was targeted and why. And every single word in that statement matters. 5,000 pounds, deep penetrating, hardened underground, anti-ship systems threatening the strait. These are not words the military uses casually. Each one tells you something specific about what Iran has been hiding underground, and why conventional munitions could not reach it. But why does a weapon this powerful only come out now, 3 weeks into this conflict? And what does Iran concealing anti-ship systems underground near the strait tell us about why that waterway has been so difficult to reopen? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. Let us start with exactly what was confirmed today, because the language used is precise and every part of it is significant. U.S. Central Command, the military command responsible for operations across the Middle East, released a public statement confirming that American forces successfully deployed multiple 5,000-pound deep penetrating munitions on hardened Iranian military sites along Iran's coastline near the Strait of Hormuz. American forces deployed multiple 5,000-pound munitions on hardened Iranian military sites along the coastline near the Strait of Hormuz. The stated reason for the operation was specific. Those sites contained anti-ship cruise systems, systems designed to target vessels attempting to pass through the strait. And those systems posed what the statement described as a direct risk to international shipping in the waterway. Now here is what makes today different from any previous operation in this conflict. The word hardened and the word deep penetrating are the key details. Every previous military operation in this conflict has targeted surface installations, naval assets, launch infrastructure on or near the ground. Today, for the first time, the U.S. reached for a weapon specifically designed to go underground. That shift is not a minor tactical adjustment. It is a confirmation that Iran has been operating significant military infrastructure below the surface, infrastructure that conventional munitions cannot reach, and that this underground capability has been active and operational near one of the most strategically important waterways on Earth. But to understand the full significance of today, you first need to understand what a deep penetrating munition actually is, because most people have never had reason to think about it before. A deep penetrating munition, sometimes referred to informally as a bunker buster, is a weapon that was engineered to solve a very specific problem that conventional munitions cannot solve. Here's the problem. Underground facilities are essentially immune to standard munitions. If you have a military installation buried beneath several meters of reinforced concrete and rock, you can drop a conventional munition directly on top of it and cause visible surface damage. But the facility itself, the equipment, the systems, the operational infrastructure, remains completely intact underground. The surface explosion simply does not reach deep enough to affect what is buried below. Deep penetrating munitions were designed specifically to solve that problem. They work on a fundamentally different principle. Instead of exploding on impact with the surface, they are engineered to drive through it. The munition is built with a hardened casing, a specific weight distribution, and enough mass and velocity to punch through multiple meters of reinforced concrete or solid rock, and only activate its warhead once it has reached the depth where the target actually is. Think of it this way. A conventional munition is like throwing a rock at a wall. It makes an impact on the surface. A deep penetrating munition is like drilling through that wall. It keeps going until it reaches what is on the other side. At 5,000 pounds, the munition deployed today is one of the largest conventional weapons in the American arsenal. It is not a weapon used for routine operations. It is not used against targets that could be reached any other way. When the U.S. military deploys this class of weapon, it is because the target is specifically hardened against everything else. And the fact that multiple such munitions were needed, not just one, tells you something about the scale and depth of the underground infrastructure that was being engaged today. Tell me in the comments, did you know this class of weapon existed before today? Because when I understood what it is specifically designed to do and why conventional munitions cannot do the same job, the significance of today's operation became immediately clear. Drop your comment below. Now here is the layer that connects everything. The sites targeted today were not random military installations. They were specifically chosen because they contained anti-ship cruise systems, projectile systems, whose entire purpose is to target vessels on the water. And they were positioned along Iran's coastline near the Strait of Hormuz, the same waterway that connects roughly a fifth of the world's daily oil supply to the rest of the planet. This answers a question that many people following this conflict have been asking. The strait has been functionally disrupted for weeks. The U.S. Navy has described it as a danger zone. Commercial shipping companies have been unable to get insurance for vessels transiting through it. But the exact nature of the threat has not always been clearly explained. Today's operation provides that explanation. Iran has been maintaining hardened underground facilities along the Strait's coastline containing anti-ship systems. These are not systems sitting in the open, where they could be easily located by surveillance aircraft and engaged with conventional munitions. They are buried, protected by layers of concrete and rock, and they are pointed at the shipping lanes. This is why simply declaring naval superiority in the region has not been sufficient to reopen the strait to commercial traffic. Surface naval assets can be tracked and engaged. Underground systems are a fundamentally different challenge. A vessel transiting the strait cannot be certain that every underground launch site along the coastline has been neutralized, because finding and reaching underground targets requires specific intelligence, specific weapons, and specific operations. Exactly the kind of operation that was confirmed today. The 5,000-pound deep penetrating munitions were not chosen for today's operation by accident. They were chosen because they are the only tool capable of reaching what Iran had placed underground. And because that underground infrastructure has been a critical part of why the Strait situation has been so difficult to resolve. Now here is where today becomes even more significant. Because the deep penetrating munition operation did not happen in a vacuum. On the same day the U.S. deployed its most powerful conventional munitions against underground Iranian sites near the Strait, Iran launched another wave of projectiles, confirmed by multiple sources. The operation did not pause Iranian activity. It did not produce an immediate halt in Iran's own operations. Both sides were conducting major operations simultaneously. And then there was the second detail that emerged today that received significantly less attention than it deserved. Iran released a statement confirming it has designated between 3 and 7 successors for every single senior official in its structure. The explicit reason given was to ensure that, in conflict conditions, operations continue without disruption, regardless of what happens to any individual official. Think about what that system means in practice. It means that removing any single figure from the picture, however senior, however significant, does not interrupt or degrade Iran's operational capability. The institution has been structured to absorb any individual loss. The network goes deeper than any individual target, just as the underground facilities went deeper than munitions could reach. The parallel between physical and organizational infrastructure is not accidental. Both were designed with the same logic. Build in depth, build in redundancy, ensure removing the visible layer does not stop what is underneath. Iran concealing anti-ship systems in hardened underground facilities near the Strait. Does that change how you understood the situation? Tell me what you think below. And now, here's the detail from today that is receiving almost no coverage, and that may turn out to be the most significant statement made by anyone on any side of this conflict in the past 3 weeks. Iran's foreign minister was asked today about Iran's position on nuclear development. His answer was careful and specific. He said that the previous position on this matter was based on a religious ruling from the previous supreme leader. And he said that the new supreme leader's position on this specific matter has not yet been publicly announced. In other words, the official position that has governed nuclear development for years is now pending review under new leadership. Now, let us be precise about what this statement does and does not mean. It does not mean Iran is building a nuclear device. It does not mean the new supreme leader has made a decision in any direction. What it means is that the official framework that previously defined Iran's stated position is now in a transitional state, and that the foreign minister chose today, of all days, to say so publicly. The timing of that statement, made on the same day the U.S. deployed its deepest-reaching conventional munitions against underground Iranian sites, is not something that can be easily dismissed as coincidence. Iran's foreign minister is not someone who speaks carelessly. Choosing today to publicly note that the nuclear position is pending new leadership guidance is a deliberate communication. And what it communicates is this: the U.S. just used the weapons specifically designed to reach what is buried deepest underground. And Iran's own foreign minister just reminded the world that the most consequential question about what Iran might be developing underground is currently without a definitive answer from the new leadership. So, here is where things stand tonight. The U.S. military confirmed it deployed multiple 5,000-pound deep penetrating munitions, sites containing anti-ship systems, designed specifically to target vessels in that waterway. The most powerful conventional munitions in the American arsenal were needed because conventional weapons cannot reach what Iran had buried underground. On the same day, Iran launched another wave of projectiles. Iran confirmed it has succession plans in place for every official so operations never stop. And Iran's foreign minister publicly stated that the new supreme leader's position on the most sensitive question in this entire conflict has not yet been announced. 3 weeks into this conflict, the U.S. just reached deeper underground than it has at any previous point. And Iran's response was to launch more projectiles, confirm its organizational depth, and leave open the most consequential question of all. The U.S. just used the weapon designed to destroy what is buried deepest. And today, Iran's own foreign minister reminded the world that the most important question about what Iran might be developing underground is still waiting for an answer from the new leadership. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. Make sure to click on one of the videos on the screen. Turn on the notifications bell and please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.